Good morning, this is PJ. These readings are for Thursday, July 29th, 2021. And I apologize that it's getting later and later in the morning before these are released. Thursday, July 29th, 3 readings. Psalm 78, 23 through 29 is our psalm reading. It is Thursday, so we'll have this reading for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, preparing us for Sunday. Our Old Testament reading is Exodus chapter 12, verses 33 through 42. And our New Testament reading is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 27 through 34. Let us listen in and hear what God says to us today. When God heard that, he was furious. His anger flared against Jacob. He lost his temper with Israel. It was clear they didn't believe God, had no intention of trusting in his help. But God helped them anyway, commanded the clouds and gave orders and opened the gates of heaven. He rained down showers of manna to eat. He gave them the bread of heaven. They ate the bread of the mighty angels. He sent them all the food that they could eat. He let east winds break loose from the skies, gave a strong push to the south winds. This time it was birds that rained down, succulent birds, an abundance of birds. He aimed them right for the center of their camp. All round their tents there were birds. They ate and they had their fill. He handed them everything, craved on a platter. But their greed knew no bounds. They stuffed their mouths with more and more. Finally, God was fed up. His anger erupted. He cut down their brightest and their best. He laid low Israel's finest young men. Our Old Testament reading comes from the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verses 33 through 42. The Egyptians couldn't wait to get rid of them. They pushed them to hurry up, saying, "We're all as good as dead." The people grabbed the bread dough before it had risen, bundled their bread bowls in their cloaks, and threw them over their shoulders. The Israelites had already done what Moses had told them, and they had asked the Egyptians for silver and gold things and clothing. God saw to it that the Egyptians liked the people and so readily gave them what they asked for. Oh yes, they picked those Egyptians clean. The Israelites moved over to Ramoson and Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, besides their dependents. Hebrews and non-Hebrews alike set out to mention the large flock and herds of livestock. They baked unraised cakes with the bread dough they had brought out of Egypt. It had raised. They had been rushed out of Egypt and hadn't time to fix food for the journey. The Israelites had lived in Egypt 430 years. At the end of the 430 years, to the very day, God's entire army left Egypt. God kept watch all night, watching over the Israelites as he brought them out of Egypt. Because God kept watch, all Israel, for all generation, will honor God by keeping watch this night, a watch night. Our New Testament reading, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 17 through 22. Regarding this next item, I'm not at all pleased. I am getting the picture that when you meet together, it brings out the worst side instead of your best. First, I get this report on your divisiveness, competing with and criticizing each other. I'm reluctant to believe it. But there it is. The best that can be said for it is that the testing process will bring forth truth and to open and confirm it. And then, I find that you bring division to worship. You come together, and instead of eating the Lord's Supper, You bring in a lot of food from outside and make pigs of yourself? Some are left out, some go home hungry, others have to be carried out, too drunk to walk. I can't believe it. Don't you have your own homes to eat and drink in? Why would you stoop at depreciating God's church? Why would you actually shame God's poor? I never would have believed you would stoop to this. And I'm not going to stand by and say nothing. The word of our Lord. Here's our readings for the day. Have a good day.